What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the City Life Project YouTube channel for yet another predictions video here on the channel. This time we're doing it live during a pre-show segment before we dive into our fight companion. So if you're watching this live, join us for the fight companion. Hell, if you have found this during or right before the UFC event and you're rewatching this back, come join us. We're probably live hanging out, watching these fights together. It's a fun one. UFC Fight Night, Sandhagen versus Font. We got like, 40 minutes until the event starts. So we'll hammer through these predictions here, folks. And after every fight, we will dive into the comments because I want to hear your guys' picks as well. What is up, Herbo? It's good to see you. Get some fucking food in you, brother. What's up, Jeff M? It's good to see you as well. All right. Let's dive into this card, guys. First fight on the card here, Ode Osborne against Asu Almabayev. Now, Asu Almabayev, he's another Kazakhstani who, let's be honest, has been ripping it up. 17-2, 5 known his last 5 fights, but he has been crushing cans. Ode Osborne, way more experienced in the UFC, and I mean, we can quickly go through his record here, but as you can see his resume here, he has a few good wins. I've counted 5. I've counted 5 like really good wins. He's fought in some decent promotions out there. Brave, 4-0 in Brave, ACB, M1 as well. But again, I went through his entire resume here, and I really only saw out of all of these wins, 5 of them were good wins. The rest were cans. And we saw, I believe there was a Kazakhstani or an Azerbaijani prospect who came in a couple weeks ago who's undefeated and won, but did not look that good in his fight. Ode Osborne, I think, I don't want to say he's underrated. Like, I think he's a good fighter in the UFC. He's a solid fighter in the UFC. He belongs there. And I just think he's better all around. Now, he has been a little bit chinny, but I mean, I don't think, again, I don't know how hard Asu hits, but I feel like Asu's only really knocked out or really beaten up lesser opponents. Overall, I just think Ode Osborne is UFC caliber. This Kazakhstani yet to prove that here at this level. And I would say, like I said, 5 good wins, I should say, in his career. Out of the 17 wins, he's kind of a can crusher. So I'm going Ode Osborne. That's who I'm locking in this first fight. And I'll quickly turn to the comments here before we get to the next one up the card. Tonight's parlay, I'll leave this on screen. Almabayev, Hadley, Bahamondes, Lopes, Suarez, Sandhagen. Let's go, Andrew. What's going on? Again, I just don't trust this new guy coming in. His resume is not impressed me. Despite the leagues that he's fought in, His resume hasn't impressed me. All right, late addition to this card, actually. Sean Woodson up against Dennis Buzukas. Herbo saying, exactly my reasoning, along with Ode, is 2 inches taller and I assume longer reach. Sean Woodson against Dennis Bazooka. Sean Woodson, 9-1-1. His last fight was a draw. Before them was on a 2-fight win streak. Very just crazy lanky frame. Really good striker. Very unique striker. 9-1-1. He came into the UFC via Contender Series. Good win on Contender Series. He knocked out Terrence McKinney on Contender Series. Great regional wins as well. He is the slight favorite at -185. 3 KO, TKO, 1 submission, 5 decision. His 3 opponents pulled out for this damn fight. Or for a fight earlier this month, folks. Or sorry, not earlier this month, but or today actually. 3. So his last opponent. I thought the third one was that as well, but that is absolutely insane. Sorry, he last fought in 2022. 3 opponents pulled out for this event. That's crazy. So 4th one's the charm, I guess. I'm glad Sean Woodson is getting the fight regardless. But was on a 2-fight win streak before that draw against Luis Saldana. I know there was a lot of high hopes for him coming into the UFC. His only loss is to Julian Erosa, which Julian Erosa is a fine veteran, so not the worst loss. Although it was a Darce choke in the 3rd round. But came back with 2 wins there. Look, he's solid. He's nothing special, but 9-1-1. Only 1 loss to a journeyman UFC fighter. I understand why he's the favorite. Also, given that he's been preparing for a fight. Now, 3 different opponents. That's a little crazy. Dennis taking this fight on short notice. Good odds, honestly. Good underdog here at +155. He's 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Trains at a Serra Longo, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Or Longo and Weidman now, I guess. 4 KO, TKO, 1 submission, 6 decisions. He's 1-1 on Contender Series. Didn't get a contract after his win. If you look at his resume, though, hasn't fought that great opponents. He fought in UAE Warriors. Sweet, good promotion. He fought a guy who was 7, or he beat a guy who was 7-7, right? 9-5. I mean, a few good wins here and there on his career. Don't get me wrong. A good win on Cage Fury FC. I love that promotion. But again, look at the guy who he beat. Just a 6-4. I mean, decent regional fighter. Great run here. Awesome record going into this one. I think Sean Woodson just faced better competition. I think he is way too unique of a striker for a guy to be able to solve on short notice. So I'm going to go with Sean Woodson here. I understand why he's the favorite, but Dennis Bazooka, not the worst fighter to drop a little something on as the underdog. That parlay is +728, by the way. Nice. Saldana slept him twice. What's up, Matt? It's good to see you, buddy. All right, up the card we go. Jake Hadley against Cody Durden. I do like Jake Hadley. I do root for this fighter. I think he's just really well-rounded as well. He's the favorite -200 according to Tapology here. Cody Durden is massive for the division, and Jake Hadley's not small for the division, but he's a skinny white boy, okay? Hadley is smaller than Durden. Durden's going to come into this bigger. I believe Durden's taking this on short notice too, and there was no catch weight. They both made 125. Look, Hadley's just more well-rounded, I think. Durden's obviously just a better wrestler. He does have some good power in his strikes, but Hadley's a way better striker. Hadley has really good grappling. I don't want to say wrestling defense, but he has underrated grappling, and he's pretty dangerous off his back as well, where Cody Durden is kind of I guess if you're going to compare it to any style, kind of like Colby Covington, like pressure wrestling. Look, I like them both. I think the odds are pretty good here as well. Is there a possibility that Cody Durden advances the record to a 4-fight win streak? Absolutely. But I think the White Kong, Jake Hadley, who's 10-1, 4-1 his last 5 fights on a 2-fight win streak as well. I think he's got this. He's only 27 years old as well. Yeah, I got Jake Hadley winning this one, but again, Cody Durden, a solid fighter, and like he could get it done if he continues just to pressure Hadley. Like even if Hadley gets back up to his feet, which Hadley likely will, unless he's like in open water in the center of the mat via takedown, trying to work a submission or something like that. I think you will try to get back up and actually be successful, but there's only so many times you can do that before you just get tired at the end of the day. And I'm interested to see how Cody Durden looks because I was watching some of these other preview videos on YouTube as well from, all the big YouTubers and media outlets. And he is supposed to fight, or he has a fight in September that apparently is, knock on wood, injury-free this fight, that he's going to be fighting as well. So he was kind of preparing, as much as you can prepare a few months out. And it's just interesting that this wasn't at a catchweight, given that he's a big boy. And I don't want to say struggles to make weight, but it is a factor more so than that of a Jake Hadley to make 125. Hey, if he comes out of this injury-free, though, Durden probably it's easier probably for him to just keep his weight down after this. But anyways, all right, back to the comments we go. And do I think parlays are generally wasted money? I only put money I've won on them. Yo, I'm about to work out that I might tune into some of the UFC. Sounds good, Shane. Good to see you, buddy. One of our exclusive members. Durden didn't look bigger at the face-offs. What the fuck? It won't let me do the English flag. All right. Up the card we go, guys. Billy Quarantillo against Damon Action Man Jackson, right? Damon Action Jackson. I think this is a good matchup. The matchmakers did a good job with this one. Two guys coming off a loss, same age. Obviously, I think Damon Jackson just has a little bit more miles on his resume. I got Billy Quarantillo to win this one. I think I honestly think the odds could have been more in his favor. You know what I mean? I do think if you told me he was minus 200, minus 220, I would 100% believe you. But he comes in at minus 175 here. Action Jackson plus 145, kind of where it should be there. I just think Billy Quarantillo is just better. Action Jackson does have a little bit more miles, a little bit more wear and tear on his body. They're both coming off KOs as well. Billy Quarantillo, he just looked like he was in better shape as well. I was listening to some of his recent interviews. He seems really healthy. And again, both of them got KO'd in their last fight, so it's not like one has the advantage. A few months later after a fight coming in who took a lot of damage. They each took a lot of damage in their last fight. Billy Quarantillo has the better stand-up, and I do think he can withstand the wrestling of Action Jackson. The Action Jackson does have good wrestling and some sneaky good stand-up as well, but Billy Quarantillo is going to be better than him standing up. I truly believe that. And I do think, whether Jackson takes him to the ground or not, I think Billy Quarantillo will employ some good defensive wrestling, good counter wrestling, and get back up to his feet with ease. Damon Jackson does have a cool story, given that he was cut from the UFC. He came back by dominating in LFA, even at a short stint in PFL. I think he lost his PFL fight, though. But as you can see here, solid run on the regional scene to start out his career. Entered the UFC, lost, no contest, draw, not the outcome you want. Went to the former Legacy FC, now LFA. We put together some awesome wins there, including a 2-4-5 fight win streak. Lost to an Ayev on PFL, Movlid Kabulayev. And made his way back to the UFC and put together, I don't want to say super impressive, given, the opponents that he fought, but hey, impressive nonetheless. We'll give it to him, a 4-fight win streak before getting knocked the hell out by Dan Ige. I got Billy Quarantillo. That is my pick. What do you think in the live chat? Billy's last name reminds me of a Pokemon. All right, up the card we go. Jeremiah Wells against Carlston Harris. This one's a pick'em, ladies and gentlemen. This one's a pick'em. Jeremiah Wells obviously has that big knockout power. Like, we all know that. And I'm guessing that's why he's the slight favorite here. The slight favorite. Billy was a beach last fight. Well, Billy, you mean Billy lost last fight? I don't know. I don't think he was a quote-unquote bitch, but he did lose his last fight. Jeremiah Wells against, like I said, Carlston Harris. Jeremiah Wells, 12-2-1, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Both these guys, 36 years old. Harris from Ghana, however, trains at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Like, I do think Jeremiah Wells has had like a great development. Like all the promotions, and he's 34, or was he 36 years old? All the promotions that he's fought in prior to fighting in the UFC, like they were solid promotions. 5 KO TKOs, 4 submissions, 3 decisions, 4-0 in the UFC. Again, very impressive. 3-1-1 in Cage Fury FC. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of CES, but hey, 3-1 in CES. And again, a solid run in the UFC right now. Split decision against Matthew Selmsberger. That could have gone either way. He knocked out the first one to knock out Court McGee, but again, I beat an old Court McGee. He beat Blood Diamond, who again, Blood Diamond's a good kickboxer, but just sucks in MMA. Warley Alves, again, okay win. I'm not trying to take it away from him. I'm just trying to point out that he hasn't fought the best competition in the UFC, but hey, he's rising the rankings. He was new to the UFC. And he beat pretty decent opponents on the regional scene. I can't knock him too much there. He did have a good regional run. But that's his thing. His thing is he's a pretty good wrestler, but his thing is he's got knockout power, baby. He's got knockout power. Where Carlston Harris, I believe, is more well-rounded. I do think Wells might force this to be on the feet, given that like he does have good takedown defense. And if Carlston Harris can't take him to the ground, he's going to be forced to strike with him, which I think like he's not a bad striker in his own right. I just think, well, like anyone's going to be scared of that knockout power, right? And if it only takes one to knock out Wells, where Harris might be able to crack Wells with a few before he actually breaks him down and knocks him to the ground there. But Carlston Harris has a solid resume, guys. Like, you can't knock his resume at all. Very balanced record. 5 KO TKO, 5 submissions, 8 decisions. 3-1 in the UFC, 2-1 in Brave, 3-0 in XFC, and 2-1 in Shudo. So he's had experience in a bunch of good developmental leagues. I mean, not the most impressive win. I'm not impressed with your performance against Jared Gooden. Lost to Shavkat Rakhmonov, so no shame there. Beat Impa Kasanange, or Kasengane, who fought last night, if I'm not mistaken, in PFL. Solid fighter. And he's got some decent names on his resume as well. I just think he's more well-rounded. I just think he's fought better guys on the come-up. And if this is a pick'em, I'm going to go with the more well-rounded guy who's probably in his day had experience going up against, and I'm not to say that Wells is just a pure striker, pure knockout artist, but guys who have that in their back pocket, utilize that in their game plan. So since this is a pick'em, I'll go with the slight underdog in Harris. And upon saying that, he's probably going to get knocked out tonight. But yeah, I'm going to bank on Wells gassing, and I think Harris is going to take this one. That's my pick. Up the card we go. Raoni Barcelos against Kyler Phillips. Actually, I'll quickly get back to the live chat here as it's buzzing. I like Harris rear naked choke. You're donating funds. Wells will KO him. If anything, the play on this fight is for it to end by KO. Round 1 or 2 flatlining. Appreciate everyone joining us here. Don't forget to join us for the fight companion in about 20 minutes. Jeremiah by destruction. Impa had a sick KO last night. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it was a good win for him because Impa is no slouch. Sub would be a risky play on Wells to plus 600. Andrew, that KO was early. I don't know. We had a conversation about that last night. Benjamin will challenge you on that one, Funkmaster. It's good to see you, buddy. But Josh going to sleep Impa regardless. All right, up the card we go. Good to see you guys again. Don't forget to join us for the fight companion that we're going to jump over to in 20 minutes or so. Raoni Barcelos against Kyler Phillips. Raoni Barcelos far from his prime, but still kicking it. He's the plus 170 underdog. I mean, if he was like plus 250, I would say like sprinkle just a small little sum on him because he is solid. What's up, Andrew? Good to see you. I mean, he was solid. He still kind of is. There might be a flash of it. But Kyler Phillips, I mean, a very, very unique striker. I mean, I'm rooting for Barcelos, not because I've had anything against Kyler Phillips. I just I want to see this guy at least get one more good win on his resume before riding into the sunset, or knock on wood, not having, but potentially having a rough decline. Phillips actually has a win over Song Yadong on his resume, which is unbelievable. 10-2 as a pro, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, coming off a win. He's still relatively young, 28 years old. Ronnie Barcelos, 36. Coming off a win is Phillips, like I said. Trains out of the MMA lab, 5 KO, TKO, 2 submissions, 3 decisions, 4-1 in the UFC, 2-0 in LFA. He came off Contender Series. 3 canceled bouts in a row in 2022 and twice in 2023. He actually hasn't fought since the beginning of 2022, so that's been a while, where he beat Marcelo Arroyo via triangle armbar. Lost to Rulian Paiva. Paiva's a decent fighter. Not the best, but not the worst. And I do remember him having some good moments in that fight. He lost majority decisions, not like he was put out. He's on a 4-fight win streak before that in LFA and the UFC. And again, a solid win. I mean, this is going to age well against Song Yadong. So decent resume, good camp, way younger, good striking, unorthodox, and honestly hard to prepare for. I think prime Barcelos would go to war and really put it on him. But I think Kyler Phillips is going to win this one. That's my pick. I'm doing good, Andrew. The matches aren't on, Andrew. I'm going to be doing a stream later, yes. And Andrew's going for the favorite. I'm going to change my phone. It's about to die. Or charge your phone. All right, Andrew. Well, I'll see you for the live stream. We're just doing a pregame show here. We're just doing some picks and predictions, Andrew. It's good to see you. All right. We got to keep firing through this. We only have 20 minutes left. Ignacio Bahamondes against Ľudovít Klein. Now, I love Bahamondes, man. I remember watching that heel kick to Roosevelt live. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my God.
That was a thing of beauty. This guy's got some nasty striking. Training in North America, too. Yeah, minus 225. I'd hope there would have been, better value. Just because I would just smash that. But hey, I mean, I'm very confident picking him at minus 225. He's 25 years of age. He's so talented and has so much power behind his striking. He's on a 3-fight win streak, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, 14-4 record. Super young and just getting better in every single one of his fights. Now, Ľudovít Klein, Mr. Highlight, has 1 single highlight in the UFC. The rest of his UFC tenure has been pretty rocky. I haven't been impressed in his last few performances. I really haven't been. Plus 190, 28 years old. I mean, he did develop over there in Octagon, which is a good league. He's still young enough. 8 KO, TKO, 8 submissions, 3 decisions. He has fun ACB as well. But a draw against Jai Herbert, unanimous decision over Mason Jones, split decision over Devontae Smith. I mean, those aren't impressive performances at all. Before they lost to Nate the Train Landwehr and Trezano. Again, one highlight from Mr. Highlight in the UFC against Shane Young. Other than that, hasn't really impressed me at all. Where Bahamondes, he's just so talented. He's just so talented. But Ľudovít Klein is still young. Octagon was an awesome promotion to develop, and you can see that the power and the talent is there. He just hasn't been putting it together. Again, 2 wins. Meh win, split decision and decision, and a draw in your last 3 fights. That's not as impressive as what this Bahamondes kid is doing, who just is continuing to get better, not just putting on meh performances like the former Mr. Highlight, now Mr. Meh, Ľudovít Klein. Again, I'm locking in Bahamondes minus 225. I could see Kyler gassing after round 1, but we'll see. Well, that's the thing. If a younger version of Barcelos, 100% I think wins that one. But he might gas early too. We'll see. We'll see. WWE is on tonight. You know I really am not a fan of WWE, Andrew. Ignacio by sub is plus 800. Wouldn't be surprised. Ooh, that is a good. Drop a little something on that guy. Not your house, but that could be a good pick. All right, again, reminder, we're jumping over to the Fight Companion. We'll do live play-by-play, commentary, reaction, and interaction with you amazing folks in the live chat all through the card. UFC Nashville coming up next. Back-to-back Canadians fighting. As we have Tanner Boser against Aleksa Camur. Camur, over 2 years layoff due to injury and fights being canceled. Tanner Boser, 1-4 in his last 5 fights, ripping the UFC, sponsorship debacle / storyline and deals. Man, the Bulldozer not looking good here. If he loses this one, he will likely get cut from the UFC. Out of Bonnyville, Alberta, he's got a lot of miles on him. 31 professional fights. He's 20 wins, 10 losses. Minus 155. He is the favorite, though. And I imagine it's just because the young Camur, again, 2-fight losing streak and hasn't fought in over I think it's like 2 years and a few months. Anyways, but we'll look at it here in a sec. I think this is an awesome underdog pick, to be perfectly honest. Now, ring rust is always a factor. I get it. But it's not like he's been away for the sport and just started a training camp for this fight. I believe he was supposed to fight in November. I'm not sure if he got hurt in that scenario or his opponent. He was hurt after his latest UFC fight and lost that he nursed that injury. But I don't think it was him back in November. So he has been like actively training in the gym and also training alongside some of his teammates who have been fighting. Tanner Boser, though, did look really good. He looked like he was in tremendous shape at the weigh-ins. But, yeah, I'm going with the underdog on this one. I'm going with the good value here for Camur. Again, ring rust, it is a risk, but he's the underdog, so you're risking it anyway. 6-2 record. I would still call this guy a prospect despite the layoff. 5 KO TKOs, 0 submissions, 1 decisions, 1 and 2 in the UFC. Great performance on Contender Series. Lost a close decision that honestly you could argue he won to Nikolai Nugumarianu. Lost to William Knight, that's a bad loss, let's be perfectly honest, but it's his only loss. Decent amateur run as well, 4-0. And, didn't beat bad guys on the... Sorry about that, guys. Didn't beat bad guys on the come up either. Again, Boser on a 2-fight losing streak. Not in good graces with the UFC right now. If I can find that video clip during the live stream, I'll play it. I did note it here. But yeah, I'm going with the underdog on this one. I think it's good value. Yes, he's taking time off. Yes, Boser looked like he was in good shape. Yes, Boser has more experience. Yes, he's about to be cut if he loses, so he's probably focused on winning this one. But yeah, I think barring ring rust, this is Camur's fight to lose. Yeah, I'm going with the underdog on this one. I think he's going to win this one. Let me know your thoughts in the live chat. Baja, Suarez, Sandhagen are my locks tonight. He will clean up in BKFC, absolutely. Camur had a ulnar nerve issue that kept him out, but trains with Stipe. I got Camur too. I think that's my only underdog pick. Yeah, he was out for a while. Solid camp. I just don't think Boser's going to get it done. As much as I love to root for the Canadians, we have another Canadian here in the next fight. Sometimes I gotta pick with my head, not my heart. But I will be happy if the Canadians win. I'll just say that. Oh my God, what a challenge for another guy who's taken, I think, 2 years off as well in Gavin Tucker against Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes is unbelievably tough, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. I don't know if you guys saw his last fight where he fought Evloev on short notice. It was insane. So dangerous. Again, last fight on short notice, and he showed that he was a dog. He showed that at points, I thought he was maybe even going to win the fight and be one of the biggest upsets on that card. Hell of the year. He's still so young too, at 28 years old. I do like Gavin Tucker. I think Gavin Tucker is a good fighter. But he is getting older, and his wins haven't aged well. At the time on his come up, at the time of him winning, I mean, the guys who were fighting, he was fighting at his level, or like were solid as well. But now that you look at it 2 years later, not the best wins. He's been out due to injuries. He's 37 years old. And you look at his opponent, tough guy to come back and fight against. So it's understandable he's a favorite in Diego Lopes. I'll get right back to the comments in a sec. I see you there, Daniel. Don't worry. 8 KO TKOs, 11 submissions, 2 decisions, 0-1 in the UFC. He took that fight again on short notice, 0-1 in ACB, 0-1 in Contender Series. But, dude, unanimous decision. I cannot believe Evloev didn't put him out. Yeah, he gassed, but oh my God, it was such a great fight. You guys have to go check that out. And some solid wins on the regionals. He's a tremendous grappler. He's a tremendous striker. He's got some power in those mitts, and he's got a chin like you cannot believe. Yeah, he's kind of got a boy band looking hairdo, but he backs up. He's an absolute savage, mostly fighting in Fury and Lux. This guy's got experience on the regional scene. 28 years old. It's time to go pro, and I cannot wait to see him fight. I feel bad that it's my boy from Canada, Gavin Tucker's on the other end of it, but yeah, I do think that Diego Lopes is going to win this one. Just so dangerous, unbelievable power, unbelievable chin, and a great submission artist in his own right. He's training out of Mexico, the same camp as Aleksa Grasso. He is Brazilian, so you know he came out of the womb with a few stripes on that white belt. I'm betting against 2 Canadians in a row here. I feel dirty, ladies and gentlemen. I feel dirty. What is up, Danielle Torres? What's going on, buddy? A lot of Canadians, but only one Canarian. Lopes round 1 sub. Diego Lopes is the best prospect in the division. Dude, he's so good. Diego Lopes round 1 rear naked choke. I think Lopes catches the neck. Yeah, he's so good, man. All right, up the card in the featured fight, we have Dustin Jacoby against Kennedy I always mess up his name. Nzechukwu. I always want to do Nzechukwu, but it's Nzechukwu. One more time. Kennedy Nzechukwu. Dustin Jacoby against Kennedy Nzechukwu, the African Savage. He's on a 3-fight win streak right now, 12-3 record. 3-2 in his last 5 fights against Dustin Jacoby, 18-7-1 in mixed martial arts. But don't let that record fool you. This guy's an absolute savage. Training out of Denver, Colorado. Former Glory kickboxer. What's up, Diego? 35 years of age. He's coming in at the underdog, as an underdog here. 11 KO TKO, 1 submission, 6 decisions in his pro MMA career. Again, he's not a grappler. He's decent. He has decent takedown defense. But overall, he's very much a striker. 6-4-1 draw in the UFC between 2011 and 2023. That's why he's been in the UFC for that long. 0-2 in Bellator, 0-1 in World Series of Fighting, and 1-0 Contender Series. It's crazy to think that he had such a crazy and long run in Glory. He actually fought Alex Pereira and lost in Glory. He's on a 2-fight losing streak right now, something he's not really familiar with. A controversial loss to Khalil Roundtree. I thought Roundtree won watching it live, but upon rewatching that fight a couple times, I do think that that fight should have gone to Jacoby, and got rocked early against Mirzakhanov, and then just didn't fight a good fight there. Mirzakhanov just dismantled him. Before then, was on an 11-fight win streak in MMA and kickboxing, so 2 in MMA. 8 in MMA, 2 in kickboxing, 1 in boxing. So 3 different sports, and he was on 3 different combat sports that he was on a win streak. Unbelievable stuff there. I guess there was a split draw to Ion Cutelaba somewhere in there, but this is impressive nonetheless. Look at all that green. Look at all that green. Again, he is coming in at the underdog. Nzechukwu is a solid fighter, but honestly, I don't get the hype. He's very good once he gets into the pocket and utilizes those elbows and the tie clinch and the knees. At range, he doesn't have the power that I'd hope someone with his frame would have. You know what I mean? 8K, regardless, 8 KO TKO, 1 submission, 3 decision. But a lot of those KO TKOs, and again, credit to him, are in the pocket here against someone like Jacoby, who's a rangy kickboxer in his own right. I just don't think it's a good matchup for Nzechukwu. 6-3 in the UFC, 2-0 Contender Series. Got in off his second run, 1-0 in LFA. And his last 3 wins have not been that impressive. Devin Clark, solid fighter, but nothing special. Cutelaba, kind of on his way out. Carl Robertson, a 9-5 guy, okay. He did beat Carlos Ulberg, but Ulberg was only 4-0, and Ulberg has come a long way since then. He's lost to Paul Craig. I mean, no shame in that. But, yeah, I think Jacoby has better cardio. He's an amazing striker. Didn't look good in his last fight, but he looked good in the Roundtree fight. Way better at range, and he's used to fighting bigger and rangier guys like Nzechukwu. Nzechukwu's last 3 wins were meh. And yeah, I'm going for the underdog on this one. I think that's good value. Justin Jacoby at plus 130. That is my pick. What do you think about Brennan Schaub's pick? I haven't seen his picks. What are some of his controversial picks? Guys, don't forget, in 10 minutes, we're going to jump over to the Fight Companion right when we're done this prediction. Kennedy's sick. I got Lopes winning 2. I don't bet against anyone fighting at a Factory X. You're going to fight Angry and lose Kennedy ground and pound. I don't know why he's fight Angry. He's one of the most composed kickboxers out there, so I don't think you've watched a ton of him, especially in Glory. I think we might have fireworks on this card tonight, maybe 8 and 12 finishes. That would be nice. Yo, lads, what's going on? I hope you had good jiu-jitsu practice this morning, buddy. All right, guys, keep the comments coming, but I might not get to them until we get to the other stream because, we got 8 minutes to run down 2 more fights, all right? Co-main event coming up here next. Jéssica Andrade against Tatiana Suarez. Jéssica Andrade taking this on relatively short notice. Tatiana Suarez 9-0, but took a couple years off as well. Jéssica Andrade's on a 2-fight losing streak. I mean, Jéssica Andrade, talk about miles, talk about bumps and bruises. I mean, what an absolute savage. One of my favorite female fighters, as she just got so much dog in her. 3-division fighter, former champion. Doesn't, have weight complications. Like, just an absolute pro, an absolute killer. Do I think she's going to win this fight? Absolutely not. Plus 280 underdog. I mean, that's about right, given that it's just not a good matchup. She's not the best against grapplers, as we saw against an Erin Blanchfield. Do I think Tatiana Suarez is going to maul her and finish her early like that of a Blanchfield? No. I do think Tatiana Suarez will ragdoll her for the duration of the fight, though, for all 3 rounds. Jéssica Andrade, she is a veteran. She could force a striking fight at times, but I don't think for the entire fight, and I do think Tatiana Suarez is going to end up dominating her ground and pound at certain spots, but I do think Andrade will scramble. I don't think she will get as dominated as a ragdoll as she was, and nor do I think she'll even be finished by Tatiana Suarez like she was against Blanchfield. Blanchfield, I mean, Tatiana Suarez is awesome, but she's no Blanchfield as far as grappling. She's a little bit more well-rounded. Respect to Andrade, though. Again, absolute warrior and scrapper. That's what you want to see. And she actually has knockout power, for a woman MMA fighter. And that's what you want to see. I think Suarez is going to put on an absolute grappling clinic. She's a big straw weight. She's got wins over Grosso, wins over Esparza. Andrade always has a puncher's chance, though. And Suarez does cut a lot. So let's see how her chin looks here in this one. All right. Main event of the evening. Let's get into it, folks. And I'll speed through your comments here before we jump over to the next stream. All right. Main event of the evening at a catchweight. Shout out to Rob Font, by the way. Like this is the most savage fight by two of the nicest people in the UFC. I mean, Cory Sandhagen, such a wacky individual, right? But such a good guy, it seems, but a killer in the cage. And then you look at Rob Font, just such like a respectable guy, just makes you smile, just kind of brings the light to any room, you know what I'm saying? Lights up any crowd. And he's an absolute scrapper, one of the best jabs in MMA striking. Font's got knockout power. Font's got unbelievable boxing, unbelievable distance control, and unbelievable jab. Font is good at getting back up to his feet, but he can get taken down easily. And you look at Cory Sandhagen, he is so well-rounded. Both of them were training. Both of them were in camp, so it's not like either of them has the disadvantage here. Both of them were training for guys of different styles as well. So I think they're both professional and they're both veterans that I don't think that really will phase them much. I think they're fine coming into this one. I don't think the change of opponent's really going to mess them up too much there. look, at plus 275, Font does have a puncher's chance, maybe a little half unit or like 0.3 units, you know, something like that on Font, just to be safe, as he's coming in at plus 275. But I do think Cory Sandhagen is the rightful favorite here. He's on a 2-fight win streak, 16-4 in his pro MMA career, but he just keeps getting better and better, man. He trains with some of the best guys out there. Hell, he's been fine-tuning his Muay Thai with Superlek, man. I just think overall, when you're going up against a guy who's as well-rounded as a Cory Sandhagen, he might expose any limitations in your game, even if those are sound parts of your game. They are limitations if you're going up against a Cory Sandhagen, and those are the grappling, those are the takedown defense. Again, Rob Font, good at butt scooting, getting back to the cage, getting back up to his feet. Hell, I've even seen him get back up to his feet in deep water, so I will give him credit to that. He's 36 years old, though. Again, it seems like he just came into the UFC, man. I'm getting old. Time is flying, but Rob Font, a solid fighter who's beaten killers in his own right. He's tough as hell, but Sandhagen has a good chin too. Sandhagen is way more well-rounded. His Muay Thai is good. He's hard to hit. His footwork is good. Part of his Muay Thai is knees and elbows. He has a pretty good jab and is good at managing the distance as well. Good at popping in and out. His wrestling, if he needs to employ that, is really damn good as well. And his grappling is awesome. His jiu-jitsu is underrated too. I just think he's better all around, but Font does have a puncher's chance. And if Font takes out Cory Sandhagen, dude, catapult him to a title shot next, because he deserves it. I love both of these fighters. I'm a fan of both of them. I do think Cory Sandhagen is going to win. And if he wins, I'm very excited to see him get that title shot. I want to see Cory Sandhagen have that belt around his waist in the UFC before he retires. So again, Font does have KO power. He does have the best jab, arguably one of the best jabs in the UFC. It's the battle of the good guys, yet killers once that cage door closes. Both were in camp. Both were ready for a fight. They're veterans, so I don't think changing up the game plan will be too hard for them. It might have been harder for a younger fighter. Again, just quickly before we wrap up here, as we're at the top of the hour, like just look at 9 KO TKOs, 4 submissions, 7 decisions, 6-0 in CES, 10-5 in the UFC for Rob Font. And look at like the guys he's lost to: Pedro Munoz, Asuncao, Jose Aldo, Marlon Vera, and John Lineker. These guys aren't slouches at all. Cory Sandhagen took the fight on, or 7 KO TKO, 3 submissions, 6 decisions, 9-3 in the UFC, 2-1 in LFA. Beat Marlon Vera, beat Song Yadong, lost on short notice Piotr Yan, but that was a great competitive fight. I think he was robbed of this one, but lost a close split decision to TJ Dillashaw, and then lost to Aljamain Sterling. Look at all the other, big wins that he has on his record. Unbelievable. Cannot wait for this one. It's going to be an absolute barn burner. We're jumping over to the fight companion in just a moment, folks. I'm going to quickly go over the last of the comments here, then we'll jump over there, all right? Smash that like button. Yes. Suarez by ass whooping. I woke up at 12 and it was at 10. Uh-oh, that's not good. Ode Live Dog. What's up, Twizzy Rich? I think he's a good dog to pick. Tatiana will be the next champion in the division. I might be tripping, but I swear I heard you say Jéssica Suarez. Are you phony? I think they will be here in the fight companion. Cory, round 4, flying knee. Cory KO in round 3. I'm going to share the link with you guys in this live chat. Then we're going to jump over to the next stream. If you're rewatching this video or watching this video as the prelims go on live, feel free to jump in our fight companion. We will be streaming there. But like and subscribe if you haven't already. Comment on this video after it's posted if you like my picks, if you're critical of my picks, or if I was just way off and you feel the need to roast me after. It helps the, as Moicano would say, algorithm, if you like and comment. All right, here's the link for the fight companion. Join me there, and I will see you folks on the next one. Peace.